today I had a specific project plan that I wanted to get done, and I wanted to do it today because I wanted to be able to work on it from beginning to end and try and get the whole thing done. And what that plan is a bed for the camper. I'm nervous to do this, but I'm also excited to do this. I don't think I brought my plans out. Oh, I did. So I've thought a lot about this, and this probably isn't going to make a lot of sense because my drawings aren't the best, but hopefully that'll make at least a little bit of sense on what I'm trying to do, and then as I build it, you'll kind of see it come together. I would really like to keep this kind of as original looking as possible, and the reason for that is just because of how clean it is. It hasn't been used. The cushions look good, the roof in it, I mean, just everything looks so good and clean. So I would really like to try and keep that look as much as possible. If it had been used hard and was kind of rough inside, I'd feel a lot better about just tearing stuff out, rebuilding, doing whatever I want to. But because it's so clean, I'd like to try and keep that look. So I really thought hard about this bed and how I wanted to handle it. And I really thought about just tearing out that bench and replacing it with kind of a custom built thing. But here's what I came up with that I think is going to work. This is my rough drawings, and I apologize. I don't know how to use some of these CAD drawing deals. But basically, you've got the bench here, and I want to be able to take the lid, flip it open so that it's upside down. So this is the cushion here. So it hinges open and then slides out. And then this creates the platform for a full-size bed. And I'm going to use this slat style. You've probably seen that on YouTube. If not, you'll see it today for the sliding part of it. So it'll just create this flat surface. And I want to do it in two pieces, because right now it already hinges open in two pieces. But my thinking on having it in two pieces is, number one, when it's half open like this, it can be used as like a bench, right? So if I'm out with the whole family and we end up in a rainstorm or something like that, it's time to eat dinner, we should all be able to come in and have a place where we can kind of sit and hang out and eat, hang out, watch a movie, whatever it is that we're going to do, have it set up that way. The other reason is I would like to be able to have more floor space. So with the bed all the way open, it's gonna take up a lot of space in the rig, but with it only half open, it's going to open up a lot of space. So you get up in the morning, put away half the bed, take the cushion off of that, throw it on the other side, and then you've got more floor space. So that's the plan. And I probably don't need to explain it all right now, other than to let you know that I have a plan and there's a specific reason why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. I really want to keep that kind of original, clean look. So that's what I'm going to work on today. I'm going to shift gears. I'm going to focus on that first. I'm hoping that the parts from Summit will show up today with enough time that I can at least do the U-joint. I really want to get that done, but I just don't have those right now. So because I don't have those now, that was going to be priority 1. That is now shifted to priority 2, and I'm going to focus on that. One thing that I know I'm going to need a lot of is slats for this design. And I'm going to be cutting mine out of, I've got some scrap 3/4 inch plywood here that I'm going to be using for those slats and maybe part of the frame. I've got a bunch of scrap wood here that I'm going to try and build this out of, and see if I can't use a bunch of it up before I go out and buy a bunch of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go with 2.5 inch slats. I did a lot of looking online. A lot of people did wider pieces for these slats, which leaves bigger gaps. You'll kind of see as they kind of intertwine. But to me, it seems like the smaller the gap, the better. But you also want a slab that's got enough structure and rigidity to work. And so I think 2.5 inch is going to work. Maybe I'm completely off on this. I don't know. I'm kind of taking a guess in the dark, I guess, on this. And so we'll see how that works, but that's what I'm going to go with, 2.5 inches. So I've got my table saw set up here. I've got it set at 2.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and rip these down real quick so that I've got a bunch of slats to work with, and then we'll probably hop in the van and see what we need to start to do to start putting this together. Okay, got all these cut down. So these are actually probably going to get cut in half. Well, I think about 20 inches is what I'm going to be working with, which is awful short. So I should have plenty here for those, and maybe even enough for like part of the frame too. So I think next let's hop in the ambulance and start doing a little disassembly. What a handy dandy little shelf right there. All right. This is the bench that I was talking about. As I mentioned, it's just in such good shape. I'd like to leave it as is. I'd also like to leave it as is because it's got seat belts and can act as seating. I mean, technically right now I can bring 5 passengers with me and have seat belts for every single person. So I think that's handy, and I think it looks neat to have it in this original format. So, but what I do need to do is I need to take these off. Right now they hinge up and fold that way, which I like this storage, but it's really shallow storage. I'm not sure that I would use it for other than like blankets and things like that, and I've got a lot of other storage to work with. So I think instead of having this shallow space here be storage, it's going to act as my sliding container, box, housing, sliding housing in here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these off, and then the scary part happens, which is cutting the face of this. Yep, I'm going to cut the face of this off and use it as the fascia for the 2 sliders, so that when it's all put together, it's got a nice, clean, good look to it. Well, yeah, we'll get to that point. I'm going to go grab my drill and we'll start taking these apart. Alright, cut those out. I wonder if I could use those as supports. I don't know. I'll have to play with that for a minute. And I think while I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and take this gurney catch out. This guy right here, this is what would catch the gurney as it rolled in. It'd kind of roll in and the front wheels would hit into that. And then it had a bar that would grab this and hook it there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. I think I'll probably go ahead and pull that out too, if I'm honest, because I just don't foresee needing it for anything. And it's just taking up some space. Okay, I think I've come up with a new plan. This whole face here is just one strip. So I think instead of trying to take a saw and cut it, I think I might just try and remove it as one piece away from the whole structure. I think that's really going to give the cleanest look, because it's going to be like this is going to be kind of like a drawer front, if that makes sense. So you slide out your drawer, but it's got the decorative front on it, so that when you put it away, it fills all the gaps and kind of makes it look nice and pretty. That's what this piece is intended to be on this bed. So when it's all put away, it looks all pretty, and that's going to look way better than having, you know, a cut line across here. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to just cut it right there to finish it off, but that's still not too bad. Okay, I've got that side, all the, what do you call this facing here? Anyways, got that all cut away. So I just need to do the same thing along this edge. And then I think we should be good to go. Ta-da! We did it. And that, my friend, is going to be the slider front. This is going to get cut into 2, because if you remember, based on my designs, I've got two sections that's going to come out with both the cushions. So this is going to get cut in half. But I think that's going to look pretty clean. it's going to look a lot better than if I tried to run my circular saw across the face of it. So I'm going to have to get these cut off, you know, do a little bit of that stuff, but shouldn't be a big deal. Cool. I am excited that that went so cleanly. So next step is going to be start to build some of the slider housing into here, and start working on that. I ordered a pocket jig, anyways, ordered one of those a while back, and it shows that it was delivered yesterday. I did not see it show up before I left work yesterday, but that doesn't mean it didn't show up. It could be there and just didn't get to me in my hands. So looks like I'm going to need some glue too. In fact, I'm going to start making a list right now. So that jig should be in town at my business along with a couple other parts that I need for this. I didn't go in first thing to get it because I wanted to work on this a little bit and see if I needed any other parts or pieces like glue. So one thing I do need to keep in mind is I want this to be pretty much flush. The top of this, I want it to be pretty much flush with this. So I need to make sure I build down far enough so that that 3/4 inch, those 3/4 inch slats are kind of at the top here. And I'm still wrapping my head around that intertwined idea of how that slides out and supports and holds together and all that stuff too. So I've got to keep all that in mind as I build this. So really I'm only going to have nope. Is that right? Am I thinking that right? So that much sliding, 74.5 inches. So what's 74.5 divided by 2.5? I definitely can't do that in my head. Can you? Let's see if you can come up with it before I come up with it on the calculator. Okay, so I'm going to need 30, basically, well, probably not quite 30. It's 29.8. But I'm going to need, I'm going to say 25 slats because you're going to have a little bit of a gap in between. Yeah, 74.5. I'm going to divide it by 3, right? Because that should give me a gap on each side. 74.5 divided by 3 is 24. So 25. Wow! 24.833333. So, yeah, I'm going to need 25 20-inch slats, I'm going to say. Yep. 25 20-inch slats is what I'm going to need. So I'm going to go count those up, and I think I might be able to use some of those strips as my structure and framework and all that stuff around. Alright, that was getting warm enough, so I shed a layer. One thing I need to determine is where is the center line for all of this. Now, looking at it, these appear to be the same height, same center, but I want to make sure. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick measure. 38 inches and 38 inches. So, yeah. So these are exactly the same, which is perfect. So that must mean, what, 38 plus 38? I'm going to close this door here. 38 plus 38 is 76. 76. Okay. So that should allow me to basically make the center exactly where the center is. If that makes sense. I can just cut this in half and that'll be perfect. If I'm honest, 38's a little deeper than I'd probably like for one section. I'd probably like this back section to be a little bit shallower, maybe like 30, 35, 34, to be used as a bench, but I'm not going to get picky. I'm really thrilled how this is going so far. But I'm going to want it a little bit short. Right? I'm going to want it to come, because we're going to have a 3/4 inch. I don't know if I should just go extra short just for the heck of it. No, I don't think it will matter. Will it matter? Oh goodness. I'm back. I just got thinking on this. I think I'm going to want 2 faces here. Okay. 4 inches by 18 7/8. Okay, that's going to be just right, I think. What I did was I just took the saw blade, raised it up to 2 inches, and just took a saw blade off of that right there. So that'll fit over top of that bracket, and I'll be able to use that pocket jig to tie into there, down into this. That should be pretty good. So now I'm going to see if I can figure out the face. I had to use 1/2 inch that I had, but I think that's going to be okay for this front. Okay, I'm sitting here trying to think of how to do this back slat. Mainly because I've got these bolts. You can't just necessarily put something just flush up against the back. That down slide right in there like that. Fit up nice and tight. Perfect. I think we're at a point where I need that pocket jig. I could still continue to kind of cut. I've still got to build the inside frame that's going to actually be the sliding piece. But I think I'm going to want all this stuff in place and tied down real good before I work on that, so that I can make sure I'm getting my measurements all accurate. And I need the pocket jig to put that together too. So I think it's that time. Might even be close to lunchtime. I don't even know. Oh no, it's early. I got a good early start today, so not quite time for lunchtime, although I am feeling a little hungry, if I'm honest. But okay, I think that might be what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit here and think for a minute, see if there's anything else I can do or anything else I might need from town, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, I sat and I thought. Still not sure what to do about the legs. Honestly, the easiest thing might be just to cut like a 4x4 block. It's not going to have to be super tall, like maybe 8 inches tall, and just have that as loose blocks that I can pull out and stick. I'm not sure. I haven't come up with a good plan on that yet. But I did have some glue, so I glued some of that facing that was kind of peeling off a little bit. I glued some of that on. And like I said, I sit and thought, I can't think of anything else that I need. I added a couple things to my list. I think it's just time to head into town now and get that jig and a few other bits and pieces that I need to keep going from here. I'm back. Made it into town and discovered that my package had not been delivered, which is really irritating. It says that it was delivered, said that it was handed to someone, and I checked with all my employees and everything. Nothing ever came. So I don't know what happened there. I don't have that pocket jig like I wanted. I can get by without it, but that just would make things smoother and cleaner and easier and better and all that stuff. So that was a bummer. I did, however, get to the hardware store, and I think I may have come up with a somewhat ingenious way of supporting part of this bed. So I'm kind of excited about that. We'll see if that works or not. But as of right now, I'm just going to start drilling, screwing, putting things together, get kind of the structure that I already cut in and set, start measuring for the slider portions, and just start putting stuff together and see if we can't get this whole thing wrapped up. Actually, I may have jumped the gun on that, because I've still got to cut notches into this. 20 inches. If I go 36.5, 2.5 I think is what I'll do. So I might have to rip them down again because I think I just went too wide with them. I'm going to move this stuff to the back so that I can reach it, because I'll probably build those boxes in the shop versus in here. Yep, I did. I cut them all at 3 inches and I need them to be 2.5, so I'm going to rip them all down again, unfortunately. Alright, I've got these made up, and what I've done is set this inside here like this. So the way this is going to work is I need to notch this face so that this can kind of lay down in here, and then that'll act as a guide as it kind of slides out in and out. What I'm also going to need to do is cut some sort of a center support or something that can just go on the bottom here that it can kind of ride along as well. That'll just kind of keep it level, if that makes any sense. Okay, here is where we are at. I've got this face done. I've got it notched. The notching did not come out as pretty as I would liked it to. I should have done better about clamping this down, and anyways, I wanted to flop as I was cutting it with the jigsaw, but I think it's gonna work just fine. I realized that I cut these back pieces too short. I was taking off 1/4 inch. I honestly don't remember, but I cut them too short. It's what it comes down to at the end of the day. I think rather than trying to recut a new piece and re-drill and go through all that work, I'm just going to cut some strips, some spacers that can go on the top here, and I think that'll work just fine. So, because I'm pretty sure I just cut it 3/4 inch too short, is the basics of it. So, but I also got these bottom supports put in, or slides, I don't know what we're going to call them, put in. Those seem like they're pretty good. So I think I just need to figure out how to space this, and then we're ready to start laying slats on top and making this bed more functional than it is right now. Something like that. So I realized the back support was fine. It was actually where it needed to be. It was actually the slider I had cut too tall. I should have looked at that better. So I ended up just shaving it down like another 5/8 inch or 3/8 inch, and now everything's looking pretty good. So I found this piece here, which should act as a pretty good spacer on these. I got the rest of them cut, so now it's just time to start kind of spacing them and screwing them down. I think what I'm going to do is start in the middle, wherever that is, and work my way out. Because then if I need to fudge a little bit on the outside edge ones, I can, and kind of make that work. So hopefully that's the right thing to do. Okay, I got going and just kept going and neglected to film because I was just in a groove and just wanted to make progress. I don't think you realize how slowly this makes things go when you're trying to film and do and figure out and all that stuff, but this is what I've ended up with. Look at this nice clean look. I ended up cutting a little bit off the bottom of this, just running it through the table saw. I taped it up so that hopefully I didn't chip the face, and that worked out good. And I did that just to give myself a buffer as this kind of slides out, pulls back in, just to give myself a little bit of a buffer on that. So, but that's it, that's how it's looking. So they'll slide out like that, and then push back in. Seat belts are a bit of a pain, but push back in just like that. They've got a little bit of friction, so I don't need to worry about them like falling out while I'm driving or anything. And I think I'm going to need to figure out some sort of a drawer pull maybe? I don't know. Well, no, I probably won't because that lid will flip down. Anyways, I'm thrilled. I think that looks super clean. I'm really excited about it. It's going to look completely stock, and I don't think the average person's going to recognize that there's a whole bed that'll slide out. So I'm thrilled. So next step is get those cushions on, get the hinges on them, and then I need to work on supports, and I've got some ideas, so I will show you those when I get to that point. That would be a problem if it's not. I'm hoping it will be though. I'm pretty happy with it so far, at least.
Done a lot of mess.
I have. Yeah, I've been cutting a lot of wood and stuff in here. I've been busy while you've been gone. So that's all closed up. And then there, one under there, like that. It's not super smooth yet, so it's going to take a little getting used to, but it's honestly a fairly quick setup for what it is. So I think I'm happy. I haven't gotten to this side yet.
Done?
Yep.
Good. Now how?
Think. Pretty good, huh? I feel pretty solid.
Yeah, but not soft for bed.
So we're gonna have to put a mattress or a pad on top of this.
Even on the wood.
Yep. Yep, that's the idea.
Then get one.
Well, one thing at a time. Goodness. Had to get this finished up first. I think I might call it a day with that. I need to figure out supports for that one still. And I'm not sure how that's gonna work yet. But my brain's just tired, and I'm tired, I'm kinda hungry, and feeling pretty good about what I got done though.
Done yet? Done yet? Done yet? Yeah, I don't see that. Oh. You might have a bad feel.
No, no, what did you do?
Covered the screen.
Oh no. Why would you cover the screen?